Hey, what's up, everybody? It's DJ Fanatic Beats, content contributor for LiveOffBeats.com. If you'd like to follow me, you can follow me on Twitter at DJ Fanatic, or you can follow me on Instagram at DJ Fanatic Beats. Today's video, you're going to like this one, real short and sweet, but very powerful. Basically, I'm going to cover ghost notes and how to enable them, and basically what they're used for, and how it can help you find different chords, different melodies, different scales. Basically help you build on top of melodies that you already put in, or chords or whatever. So basically, we're at the playlist window here, and when you select the pattern, you double click on it and you get into the Midi data. So basically, to enable ghost, the FL Studio calls it ghost channels. It's also known as ghost notes as well. So it's interchangeable. Actually, I don't even think they call it ghost notes at all. I guess the name just kind of came up over time. But anyway, you go to this little drop down arrow up here, and you go to helpers, and you select ghost channels. This is usually set by default, and you can check it if you don't see the ghost notes that I'm about to show you, but it's usually set by default. So what's cool about ghost notes, this is actual melody, like some chords I came up with for the sake of the video. So I'll just play it so you can hear it. Let me highlight here because I want you to hear the rest of that. It still went anyway. So you get the idea. Those are just some chords I came up with in the scale of F sharp minor, I believe. And what's cool about ghost notes, let's say I go to the channel rack here, and I have a cloned instance of whatever VST I'm using. In this case, it's Circle 2. And let's say I go to the same, as long as I'm in the same channel, this is channel 1 or pattern 1, I can go to the piano roll in the same channel, and now you notice it's grayed out. These are actually notes that are in the same channel or pattern. So basically what I can do, this is good for creating melody on top of your chords. That way you can reference your chords. You can look back, you can actually see them right here visually, what you did. So I'll just come up with some random melody with this. That's we'll make it shorter. So we'll try that. It should play. Try it one and see why. Back to piano roll. Oh, that's why. It's good that I ran into this mistake. Notice the velocity is all the way down. Remember, in FL Studio, when you select a key or whatever, like panning or velocity, it remembers your last setting. So I was lowering down a scale that I'm about to show you, and it's actually all the way down. That's why I couldn't hear it. So let's build a little melody on top of these chords that I made before. Check it out. notice how I created a melody, like a higher, you might want to raise that up an octave. Select all, control up, lets you raise it up an octave. There we go. And notice this is all on the same pattern. This is just a reference of the chords that I created on the other instance of that virtual instrument circle too. And what's cool about ghost notes, you can actually, if you double right click on the ghost note, it'll take you back to that other instance. See? And then you can go back and forth as you please. Now ghost notes, obviously you can't select it and move it around, but there is a setting where you can. I caution this because it can get very confusing as you have multiple instances. But I usually just use it like this so I can find a reference of some chords I made and kind of just build on top of that. Or you can just do it by ear, but this is good for when you're not really music theory savvy or whatever, and it's good to see the notes because you can actually duplicate the notes on a different octave and you can kind of look at what you did before. But to be able to move ghost notes, you can go to helpers and go to enable edible ghosts. Edible ghosts. You select that option and then you should be able, so you can move ghost notes without going to the other instance of that plugin or VST or whatever. So I usually keep that off, but that is a cool way that you can do it as well. What else was going to show you? The other thing that ghost notes is really good for is when you create scales. So for instance, let's say this is the first instance. For instances, this is it can be any VST or whatever. And this is where I built my chords. And I also made like a scale. I'm using scale helpers, but let's just delete that and show you. This is F sharp minor, so let me show you the scale. We got it here, and it's all basically, since the scale's already on here, it's all light notes. All light shaded colors. Alright, there's the F sharp minor scale, and what I like to do is select all and then lower the velocity. That way it doesn't sound when it plays. It's just silent. You're using it for a reference. So let's say I go back to the second instance. Go to the piano roll. You can right click, go to piano roll, or just click here. And notice it is visible. I can see the scale now. And a cool way you can use it, let's double right click. You can actually duplicate this on multiple octaves. I hold shift down, move it, and make it cover a large amount on a piano roll, and then we'll go back to the other pattern. Well, it's the same pattern, but the other layer, and now I can see the scale visually without having to look at, I can just put whatever. I mean, it might not sound musical, but remember what I said earlier. Look at your velocity. It's down because the last action that I took. I choose the same note. So you get the idea. So now you see the chords. I got the upper melody up here, and I'm using this as a scale reference, and I'm using obviously the chords as a reference as well. You really want to dig down and see the notes that you chose prior, and you can go even further with this. You can actually just clone another VST or whatever. Let's close that, and what's cool, I'm still in the same pattern. I just got a third instance of this, and I right click and go to piano roll. Now I have two different instances of the same plugin, and it's all on the same pattern. So now I can reference multiple. So now you hear how it's building. So this is really good to see the type of notes you put in before, and you can always just, copy whatever and create a whole new pattern. Notice this is probably all on pattern 1, so it's cool. You can just, say we want this on pattern 2. You can copy that and paste. Now you got it on a separate pattern. So there you go. That's Ghost Notes. It showed you how to enable them, within the pattern. You go down the drop down and go to helpers, and you have ghost channels. And I showed you how to enable editable ghosts, where you can edit, by just moving these around when that's enabled. And when you double right click, you can jump to any, instance of that ghost note. So it's a quick way of getting around, and also a great way to work with melodies and chords. So hopefully that helped you. It's been DJ Fanatic Beats, content contributor for LiveOffBeats.com. Again, you can follow me on Twitter at DJ Fanatic or Instagram at DJ Fanatic Beats. And hopefully, the more you use this, the better you'll get at it, and just the better your music will start sounding, because it'll get more musical, and you'll be able to make better chords and better melodies, and especially using these as a reference. So it's a quick way of just getting those ideas out. So enjoy, explore, make great music. All right, peace.